Good day, everyone. Welcome to Mock Speed Hobbies. Today, we've got a brand new one that just released, fresh and hot off the truck. This is the new Losi Super Baja Rey, the 1/6 scale short course truck. This is the version 2. We're going to get straight into an unboxing today and let you know all about this truck. Now, the weather's pretty bad here today, or I would be right into it with some driving videos, maybe on a nicer day. So let's get this thing unboxed. Let's see what it's all about. First on to the radio, the Spectrum DX3 is what is included. This is included in most of their new ready-to-run vehicles, especially vehicles that are included with smart. It does have the smart battery level indicator right there. That is really cool because you actually know where the pack voltage is, how close you are to being towards the end of your run. Power button is right here on the very end. You do have a throttle limiter for 50, 75, or 100% throttle. This, I would like to note, does also adjust your braking force. So I've noticed that when you go down to 75 or 50, you may want to go over here to your brake rate and turn your braking rate up a little bit to make sure because it does limit your braking force as well as throttle. You have an AVC rate, which is your automatic vehicle control. So if you want less control, you can turn that down, or if you want more of the automatic stabilization, you can turn it up. And then your steering trim is right here. Now, right here, something to note, your bind button, you may see it, it's kind of small, and the label is pretty unassuming. Now, I've had several guys on other models that will pick the transmitter up inadvertently like this and go to hit their power button back here on the back, and what they're doing is they're unbinding they're basically zeroing out the bind from the transmitter to the vehicle there. So when that happens, unfortunately, yes, you got to take it apart. You got to get into the radio box and set your receiver back into bind mode, and then bind the radio back to it again. So you only do it once generally because it's such a pain to get in there and have to do that again. But I'm just trying to give everybody a heads up. Don't grab the bind button and hold it and turn it on at the same time. I really wish they would have put it somewhere else, but once you know, you know. And then there is an extra channel down here. That's third channel on the rocker A and B switch. Like always, 4 AA's. They are included here in the instruction manual. So now tools, you've got a turnbuckle wrench, and you've got their large 17 millimeter hex driver and nut driver 4-way there, and got some extra parts here. We've got the manual, and you've got another decal sheet here as well. So that's the boring part. Let's get on to the truck. This thing is massive. I wanted to show you, next to, a typical 10th scales short course, the Sentin there, how it just absolutely dwarfs the thing. I mean, it doesn't even want to fit on the display case here. It's hanging off every which way. This thing is awesome. The LEDs, very realistic looking. Light bars are awesome. Got these huge BF Goodrich tires, huge big bore shocks you can see hiding in there. Got the nice scale cockpit with the dual drivers. But, I mean, look at how tiny that little truck looks next to it. Hard to even get it all in one frame here. Truck is awesome. I thought this was really cool. The system on the back here, you've got 2 full scale rim and tire replacements right here on the back. The spares are real. You've got a jack right here. Unfortunately, man, it looks real enough to be a real jack, but it is just a simulation. But very cool. You got your twin fire extinguishers, your twin cooling fans, your reservoirs for your shocks. Now, this stuff is all just scale plastic add-ons, but you know, here's your another LED backup light, third brake light, and I'm gonna flip this thing over for you guys, let you see the underside of it real quick. Alright, so like I was saying earlier in the video, I like the fact that this thing has a really thick aluminum plate chassis. It is extremely beefy. You've got an easy access panel here to your radio and electronics, so you don't have to break this thing completely down to get into that stuff. You're not pulling the roll cage off, removing the body and all that kind of stuff, which we've seen with the UDR is a real pain. So on these, you know, not so much. You got a huge thick composite drive shaft with steel universals front and rear, extremely beefy rear end. These gigantic, I mean, these things are huge. Your upper links here, you know, you've got a huge heavy gauge sway bar on either side, stabilizer bars, and then again you see those gigantic king shocks, huge bore, amazing travel on these things. The electronics are going to be real easy to get to for your batteries too. You see right down here, there's your switch. You can easily reach up through there and grab your switch whenever you need to. It's rigged right here with mounted IC5 smart plugs. So, you know, obviously these whole things are geared towards the smart technology. And it's got a real easy release hatch too for your batteries. So you just have to pull this plug, this little switch back right here, and then you just reach down and the plate will lift out. Now you see that really thick aluminum plate and padding on the back. And you have a little shim here if you're using you know, a 6S setup with 2 3 cells. It gives you this to make up the extra space. But you got this huge cavernous battery tray here to where you can stack 2 big 4-cell hard packs in there without any problem and run your full 8S setup. And then to install this, it's just opposite. Insert the tab there, and then you're going to go back here and pull the little switch back, and then drop him in right there. Snaps in place. Real easy. You'll also see right here, massive steering links. I mean, just absolutely massive steering links on those things. These are adjustable. You see what the wrench is for. And they've also got these, again, these just absolutely massive composite drive shafts with steel universals on the inside and outside. Your A-arms, composite, again, extremely durable. They're completely boxed in, so you don't have this open structure. These things are designed to take extremely hard hits when you're bashing around or if you land on your nose or something like that. And then you'll see that the bumper here is really well braced up. You've got a rubber bottom valance as well to kind of absorb some of those impacts and not scrape up your bumper as much. And then you've got a good front impact bumper here as well. But you'll notice from the back that your bumper actually spreads almost from wheel to wheel, so you've got really good frontal protection. This one here in the very front, this bull bar looking thing, is really more just to protect those LEDs under there. So, and then you've also see the way it's designed is to absorb shock. You're distributing the load up to the roll bar and back down to the frame so that you're not deforming stuff if you do manage to impact something. So that's really cool. Let's get the body off of this thing next and show you what's underneath that. Okay, so with the body removed, you can really see the impressive engineering that went into this truck. It's built just like your Desert Runner trucks in real life or a short course truck, with all the tubular style construction and the roll cage. You can probably draw some similarities between this and the UDR, but when it comes down to it, this thing is built differently. I really enjoy the way it's built, its ease of access. The way the body comes off, for instance, you may have noticed that, yes, there's quite a few screws to take off, but however, the screws do have a grommet, which is good to distribute the load so you're not ripping those through the body. And it comes free from the front really easily. You notice it just lifts right off the truck, and it comes off as one piece and very easy to deal with. Also, just by taking these 4 screws out of this side, where you can see where we were able to get enough flex here to where the pilots will just slide out from that side. Now, I avoided doing it on this side because of the wires for the LED lighting system, so it made sense to just undo these 4, and real easy to throw those guys back in. So I will have to make a correction that the radio being down here, if you did need to get to the radio, you would have to take those pilot guys out and get the body off of there. The panel on the bottom is going to allow you access to the actual motor system here. That is what that is for. And you can see that it is one of these new huge 8S Firma motors, coupled with the Spectrum Smart Firma speed control, huge 3-cap bank there, so to handle your power loads. And then you can see from the top side here where they've mounted the IC5 plugs. Also, really big 8-gauge wires. So you've got high strand count, really high gauge wires to carry your current to the motor with very little loss. And then right here in the front, you'll see the inverted mounted Spectrum servo. Now this Spectrum servo here, like I said, that's the giant scale 8S servo for the 8S vehicles. It's got a metal heatsink case on it, metal gears. You probably noticed down there that it does have a metal arm. You can see that moving there. It's not plastic, so that steering system and servo saver system is a little nicer on this vehicle. You also see right here up top, going through the middle, is a really thick gauge aluminum upper plate on the chassis. It does have a steel center drive shaft that you'll see going to the transmission and center diff. Moving up to the front, again, you'll see this big, huge, heavily braced bumper that ties into your roll cage and frame. You're distributing, like I said earlier, you're distributing all the load back to the high impact plastic area. On the front, now you can see the upper A-arms. So, you got a double wishbone system here. Top and bottom are fully boxed in. There's no open framework, so you can tell this thing's really made to take some really hard impacts to this front independent suspension. You also, and it will hide from you here, but you'll see that there are also stabilizers up on the front as well. You've got a big, massive C-hub section here on nice ball links top and bottom too. I mean, it actually looks more scale on these than just about anything else I've seen. And you also see bump stops are built into the A-arms. So as the servo is as you have it cut hard, this is really good for your steering because it's not yanking back on that servo. It's got a hard stop to it. And then you can also see the simulated disc brakes in there, which is really cool. It helps with your realism. You can see them right through there. It looks just like a real truck. You've got some spray guards here for on the front. Again, these huge bore King shocks. I mean, they're wider than my thumb. They're fully adjustable threaded shocks, some really nice coated springs, and they also have shock absorbers at the bottom. The stops will help keep you from, when you bottom out, it's got a nice cushy feel to it. It's not hard. You're taking a lot of the shock out of, if you do slap down pretty hard, it's got that little extra bit of protection, and they're even larger on the back here. on these bigger shocks in the back. Now the back has got an amazing amount of travel. This whole vehicle is very soft as far as cushioning goes, but it's very roll stable. This is one thing I noticed, that as you rock the vehicle, the torsion bars, sway bars, whatever you want to call them, are very effective. So this thing should really handle well as well. I've had a lot of these things where they had problems. I know I had it with my UDR where it really wanted to roll really easily, but this one, it seems to keep its center of gravity down low. The torsion bar is doing a really good job there. Then back to the straight axle rear end here. This is one thing of note. The trailing arms, I really like the design of these. You can tell that there's been some, significant engineering to them to be extremely tough. These things are probably over an inch thick here, or inch tall, and they're about 3/4 of an inch wide here. So it's really, really beefed up, which is, we love to use that word beefy, because when I see that, I know somebody's been thinking that, hey, this thing's going to be beat around. We need to, throw some extra strength in it. And just like what I've seen in the upper links here are probably nearly 3/8 of an inch thick. I mean, they're absolutely huge. And on the steering links here as well, ball links, and then this gigantic link there as well. Overall, the vehicle is just incredible. I think anybody that wanted to pull the trigger on one of these things would never be disappointed. It's just one of those vehicles that just screams performance. On top of all of that, it absolutely looks awesome. And I've really loved reviewing this thing. I really like getting into it and seeing what it's all about. And guys, we love doing these types of things for you. We always want to be on the forefront of technology and new items coming out. So what we need is your help to give us a like and subscribe, and be sure to sign up for notifications so that you guys are always up to date on the most current stuff coming out. And guys, these are available for sale right now. Come see us at Mach Speed Hobbies and have a great week. We'll see you next week.